The night I realized I was temporary. At 6:12 p.m., my girlfriend sent a single sentence that changed my life. Please don't come tonight. It'll just complicate things. No explanation, no call, no can we talk, just that. The funny part is, I'd already ironed my shirt. I'd already wrapped the gift. I'd already practiced the polite smile you use when you're meeting rich relatives who treat happiness like an audition. I stared at the message until the screen dimmed, then brightened again when my thumb tapped it by accident. I typed, "Okay." I didn't ask why, because deep down, I already knew. I didn't get disinvited from a family event. I got put back in storage, like a folding chair she only brought out when she needed extra seating. My name is Owen Hale. I build security systems for hospitals and utilities, quiet work that prevents disasters nobody sees. I'm the kind of guy who buys extra batteries just in case. The kind of guy who checks the weather twice. The kind of guy who has a folder called Receipts and another folder called Receipts. Backups. And for almost 2 years, I was the kind of guy who believed stability was love. Her name was Mira Vance. I met Mira when her life looked like a suitcase that had been dropped down a flight of stairs. She was 28 and exhausted, living in a half-furnished apartment with a broken microwave, a sinking credit score, and the emotional hangover of a relationship that had ended loudly and messily. Her friends kept saying she was free now, but she didn't look free. She looked like someone who'd been robbed and was still standing in the street trying to list what was missing. The ex was named Jasper. Jasper was a professional spark. That's the nicest way to say it. He was 31, always between opportunities, always about to launch something. He talked like a trailer for a movie that never came out. He was charming in a way that made people forget to ask for details. And when details did show up, they were usually unpaid. Mira used to defend him like he was a misunderstood artist. He just doesn't fit into normal life, she'd say. As if normal life was a cage and not a basic set of responsibilities. When Jasper finally left, after a year of "we're done" followed by "we're trying again," Mira did what a lot of people do when the adrenaline stops. She collapsed. That's when I showed up. Not as a rescuer, not as a knight, as a guy who brought soup and didn't leave. We met at a friend's board game night. Mira sat on the edge of the couch, laughing a little too hard at jokes that weren't that funny. When she went to the kitchen, I followed to help with plates. She dropped a stack of napkins. I crouched to pick them up. Our fingers brushed. She looked up at me with the sharpest, loneliest eyes I'd ever seen. "You're calm," she said, like it was a strange new flavor. "Is that good?" I asked. "It's different," she said, and for the first time that night, her laughter sounded real. We started dating the way stable relationships start. Small steps, consistent effort, and a mutual appreciation for not being hurt on purpose. Mira told me she was tired of drama. She told me she wanted a life that didn't feel like a roller coaster. She told me she was ready for peace. I believed her so much that I built our peace like a project plan. When her landlord threatened eviction over late payments, I sat with her at the kitchen table and helped negotiate a schedule. When her car insurance jumped because of a missed payment, I called the company and got it lowered. When she wanted to switch careers and enroll in a certification program, I covered the rent for 6 months so she could focus. I didn't do it with resentment. I did it with devotion. I thought love meant being useful. And to be fair, Mira made me feel useful. She'd fall asleep on my shoulder and say, "I can finally breathe." She'd kiss my forehead and whisper, "You make everything feel possible." She'd tell her friends, "Owen is the first person who's ever made me feel safe." Safe. That word became my religion. But safety has a downside nobody warns you about. If someone's addicted to fireworks, a steady lamp will eventually look boring. The shift didn't happen overnight. It arrived the way dust does, quietly, invisibly, until you notice everything looks dull. Mira finished her certification. She got hired at a slick consulting firm downtown. Suddenly, she had coworkers who went to rooftop bars and called it networking. She started going to Pilates. She bought new shoes and stopped wearing the old ones that had scuffed toes from anxious pacing. She also started revising the past. At first, it was casual. Jasper was awful, she'd say, but he knew how to make a room feel alive. Then it got sharper. You're always thinking about worst-case scenarios, she'd tease. Do you ever just let go? I'd smile and say, letting go is how breaches happen. She'd roll her eyes like my job was a personality flaw. 6 months before the message at 6:12 p.m., Mira started treating my steadiness as if it came with a warning label. She wanted last-minute weekend trips. I liked planning. She wanted surprise dinners. I liked reservations. She wanted stories. I liked outcomes. I miss spontaneity, she'd say, staring at her phone like it held a better version of her life. We went to Montreal last month, I'd remind her. Yes, she'd say, and the word would carry disappointment. But you scheduled everything. It felt like a corporate retreat. I didn't understand that she wasn't criticizing the trip. She was criticizing me. I told myself she was stressed. New job, new pressure, new expectations. I told myself love was patience. Then came the Garrison Night. Garrison Night was a big deal in Mira's family. A fancy fundraising gala they attended every year to support a private arts academy where her brother, Calvin, taught music. The event was a parade of wealth. Donors, trustees, old family friends who spoke in soft voices and made judgments in silence. Mira had been talking about it for weeks. What she'd wear, who might be there, how the photos would look, how she needed everything to be perfect. I assumed everything included me. I bought a simple but elegant black suit. I got my shoes polished. I had my hair cut by a barber who charged too much but made me look like I belonged in rooms with chandeliers. The day before the gala, I came home early, suit in a garment bag. Mira was at the kitchen island, tapping at her phone. Got it, I said, holding up the bag. Think it'll pass your family's quality control? Her eyes lifted, and for a second I thought she'd smile. She didn't. Her expression tightened, like she'd bitten into something sour. It's fine, she said. Fine? I repeated. That's the review? It's just very structured, she said, searching for a nicer word and failing. You look like you're going to testify in court. I laughed. Because what else do you do when someone tries to insult you with a whisper? I work in security. Testifying is kind of the vibe. She didn't laugh with me. That night, she stayed up late working. Her phone was face down more often than not. When I walked into the living room, she'd tilt it away like it held confidential documents instead of messages. I told myself I was imagining things. At noon the next day, she came into the bedroom while I was folding socks into neat pairs. She hovered near the door like she didn't want to cross a line. Owen, she said. I looked up. The tone was careful, brittle. What's up? She inhaled. About tonight. My chest tightened. I felt it before she said anything, the way you feel an elevator drop before your mind catches up. My mom has been saying stuff, Mira began, and I don't want you to be uncomfortable. Stuff about what? She looked at a corner of the room as if answers lived there. About you compared to Jasper. The name landed like a thrown glass. Jasper, I echoed. Why is Jasper even in the conversation? Because he made an impression, she said, and her voice sharpened as if she resented me for asking. People remember him. I set the socks down, slowly. Do they remember the unpaid rent? Or the cheating? Or the way he disappeared for days and came back with new excuses? Mira flinched. You always do this. You make it sound so harsh. It was harsh, I said. It was your life. She exhaled through her nose. They think you're a good guy, she said quickly, like a salesperson trying to close a deal. But they think you're not the right energy for the night. What does that mean? It's a gala, she said. It's social. It's showy. And you're She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. Boring, I supplied. Her eyes widened, offended that I'd said the quiet part out loud. I didn't say boring, she insisted. You didn't have to. She crossed her arms. I just don't want you sitting there feeling compared. I don't want you reading into comments. I'm going to be busy helping Calvin. It would be better if I go alone. I stared at her. 1,000 small memories rearranged themselves into one ugly picture. How she'd begun dressing up more, laughing at strangers' jokes a little too eagerly, scrolling through old photos she claimed she forgot to delete. You're asking me not to come, I said, carefully. I'm trying to protect you, she said. From what? From hearing what she actually thought? I felt a strange calm settle in, the way a system goes quiet right before it fails over to backup. I see, I said. She looked relieved, like she expected a fight and was grateful she didn't have to work for her decision. Thank you, she whispered. Then she stepped forward and kissed my cheek. It felt like a stamped form, approved, filed, forgotten. An hour later, she sent the message. Please don't come tonight. It'll just complicate things. That was it. That was my invitation status, complication. So I did what I do for a living. I assessed the system. I identified dependencies. I removed my support. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. Destruction is theatrical. I'm not theatrical. I opened the closet and pulled out 2 suitcases and a duffel bag. I packed the essentials, clothes, shoes, my laptop, my documents, passport, birth certificate, the folder with the lease, the receipts, the utilities logins. Then I moved to the living room. The television on the wall was mine. I'd paid for it after Mira cried one night about needing something nice in the apartment. I unmounted it and wrapped it in a blanket. The soundbar? Mine? The game console? Mine? The smart home hub? Mine. But the real backbone wasn't the electronics. It was the accounts. The apartment ran on my name. Internet, electricity, water, renter's insurance. I had set it up because Mira hated phone calls and would get anxious when companies asked questions. I logged into every service and changed the passwords. I transferred subscriptions to my email. I scheduled the utility transfers to end in 48 hours. I canceled the auto payments. Then I walked to the corner where the modem sat, blinking like a heartbeat. I unplugged it and coiled the cord neatly. When the Wi-Fi died, the smart lights fell silent. The thermostat stopped responding. The apartment became what it really was: 4 walls and a bill. I left my key on the counter. No note. Notes are for conversations. This wasn't a conversation. By 5:30 p.m., I was checked into a hotel across town under my own name. I sat on the edge of the bed, listening to the quiet hum of a building that didn't know me and didn't need me. At 7:48 p.m., my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I almost ignored it. Then I answered, because curiosity is also part of my job. Hello? A man's voice came through, strained and confused. This is Cal Vance, Mira's father. I'd met Cal twice. He was the kind of man who tried to smile through his disappointment like it was a chronic condition. Owen, he said, are you okay? Where are you? I'm fine, I said. Why? There was a pause. Mira told us you had an incident. She said you fainted. Something with your heart. She said you begged her to still come because you didn't want to ruin Calvin's night. She said you were being monitored. My stomach went cold. Not angry. Cold. Because I understood the shape of the lie instantly. She didn't just hide me. She used my health as a prop to make herself look noble. I didn't faint, I said slowly. I'm at a hotel, Cal's voice cracked. A hotel? Then why aren't you here? And why is Jasper here? I blinked. Jasper is there? Yes, Cal snapped. He's sitting at the table where your place card is. He's laughing with my wife like nothing ever happened. I let out a short breath. Almost a laugh, but too dry to count. So, that was the complication. Not me being bored, me being replaced. Cal, I said evenly, Mira asked me not to come. She said your family would compare me to Jasper and it would be awkward. She said it was better if she went alone. Silence. Then an explosion of disbelief. What? Cal barked. That's ridiculous. I can't stand that guy. He once tried to borrow money from me for a media project and then got mad when I asked for a plan. I watched the city lights through the hotel window. Everything looked sharp, like the world had finally come into focus. She lied to you, I said. And I'm not coming back. What do you mean? I moved out, I said. I took my things. I transferred utilities. The lease is up in 2 months. I'll pay my portion until then, but I'm done. I could hear music in the background of his call, thin and far away, like a party happening inside a bubble. Owen, Cal said. Softer now, please. She's under pressure. She gets weird about appearances. Let me talk to her. It's not pressure, I said. It's a decision, and it's not my job to rescue her from it. Cal exhaled, defeated. Is Jasper really with her? I don't know what she calls it, I said, but he's there, and I'm not. That's enough. Cal muttered something I couldn't fully hear, then said, I'm sorry. I believe you, I said. Tell Calvin congratulations, and enjoy your night. I ended the call and powered my phone off. That was the first full night in 2 years that I didn't have to carry someone else's feelings. I slept hard, not sad, just empty in a clean way, like a room after you finally throw out what's been rotting in the corner. The next day, I went for a long walk. I ate breakfast alone. I read. I didn't check my phone once. I didn't imagine what she was doing at the gala or whether Jasper was charming everyone or embarrassing himself. Because the truth was, I didn't care anymore. Care is expensive. I'd been paying for it with my life. On Monday morning, I turned my phone on. It vibrated like it was trying to escape. Missed calls, 39. Texts, more than I wanted to count. Most were from Mira. The earliest ones were pure confusion. Where are you? Why's the TV gone? Then came anger. You are being petty. You embarrassed me. My family thinks you're unstable. Then bargaining. Please call me. We can talk. This is a misunderstanding. Then, finally, the truth slid out between lines. Jasper just showed up. I didn't invite him. He made me feel safe. I mean, you make me feel safe. Please. I didn't reply. I went to work. At 6:05 p.m., when I walked into the parking garage, she was waiting by my car. She wore oversized sunglasses even though the garage was dim. Her arms were crossed, posture rigid like a shield. You blocked me, she said, as if I'd committed a crime. I did, I replied. She stepped closer. You can't do this, Owen. You can't just leave because of one night. One night? I repeated, and the words tasted strange, like she was trying to sell me a smaller version of what happened. Her mouth tightened. It was complicated. No, I said. It was simple. You chose. She pulled her sunglasses down. Her eyes were red, rimmed with makeup that had tried and failed to hide the damage. I panicked, she whispered. Jasper messaged me on Friday. He said he was in town. He said he wanted to talk. He said he missed me. I waited. I didn't interrupt. I'd learned that if you let people talk long enough, they reveal the part they hoped you'd ignore. I just wanted closure, she continued. I wanted to prove to myself I didn't care. So you brought him to your family's gala, I said. It wasn't like that, she insisted. He said he could help me network. He said he knew donors. He said, and you believed him, I finished. Her face crumpled. He was a disaster, she admitted. He got drunk. He tried to pitch some event concept to Calvin's principal. He flirted with a woman who was literally married to a trustee. My dad almost threw him out. I nodded once. Karma has good timing, I said. And then, she said, voice breaking, he left. He left with a guest from another table. Like I was nothing. Like he just used me to get in. She looked up at me then, pleading, hoping I'd do what I always did, absorb the mess, patch it, reassure her she wasn't responsible for her own decisions. I felt something in my chest, an old instinct, reach for the toolbox. And then I put the tools down. I'm sorry it hurt, I said, but I'm not surprised. Her lips trembled. I missed you, she whispered. I missed how steady you are. The apartment feels wrong without you. I didn't smile, because I understood what she meant. It didn't feel wrong because love was missing. It felt wrong because the scaffolding was gone. You called me a complication, I said. I didn't mean it like that, she snapped, defensive again. I was stressed. You meant it exactly like that, I said. You just didn't expect consequences. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Her fingers grabbed air. Come home, she begged. Please, we can fix this. We? I repeated. She swallowed. I made a mistake. That's the problem, I said quietly. You keep thinking the worst things you do are mistakes. They're not. They're choices you make when you think you won't have to pay for them. Her breathing turned sharp. I'm not a bad person, she said. I didn't say you were, I replied. I said you're the kind of person who confuses stability with an accessory. You wear it until something louder catches your eye. She stared, stunned, like she'd never heard herself described accurately. I love you, she said, and the words sounded rehearsed, a line delivered to stop a door from closing. I shook my head. You love what I do, I said. You love that bills get paid. You love that your life works when I'm around. You love that your anxiety has somewhere to go besides you. That's not the same as loving me. Her face twisted in anger. You're making it sound so cold. I'm describing it, I said. Cold is just what the truth feels like when you've been living in heat. She took a step forward. You promised you'd be there, she said. You promised you wouldn't leave. I promised I'd be a partner, I said, not a life support machine. She wiped her cheeks angrily. I can't afford that apartment alone, she blurted, then froze, realizing what she'd revealed. There it was, the sentence under all the others. Not I can't live without you. I can't afford life without you. I unlocked my car. The beep echoed through the garage like punctuation. Mira flinched. I'm sending movers for the rest of my things on Saturday, I said. Utilities switch off soon. If you want power and internet, call the companies. They'll be happy to take your payment. Her voice rose, frantic. You're doing this to punish me. No, I said. I'm doing this to stop punishing myself. She hit the window with her palm as I opened the door. Owen, please. I got in, started the engine, and rolled the window down just enough to speak. Your father called, I said. He sounded ashamed. Not of me. Of what you did. Her eyes widened. He's a good man, I continued. He deserves better than Jasper in his family photos. Then I paused, not because I was uncertain, but because I wanted the last words to be clean. And I deserve better than being hidden when I don't match the decor. I rolled the window up. She shouted something. I couldn't hear it clearly. Maybe it was an insult. Maybe it was a plea. Maybe it was both. Either way, the glass did what it was designed to do. Keep noise out. As I drove up the ramp toward daylight, I felt something unclench inside me. Not heartbreak, not triumph. Relief. Because I finally understood the role I'd been playing. I wasn't her love story. I was her emergency generator, and the moment the city power came back on, she stopped pretending she needed me. So I walked away, quietly, cleanly, before the next blackout. That's the thing about people like me. We don't explode. We shut things down safely. We take the keys. We close the ticket. We leave the system better than we found it. And then we move on.